All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to the podcast. We'll continue on our discussion of Police Act 2020. And in the last episode, episode 11, we said we'll continue from episode 12. And we'll start from part 9, Prevention of Offences and Security for Good Behavior. That is section 84. Okay? Prevention of Offences and Security for Good Behavior. Section 84. Section 84 simply talks about the duty of the police to prevent offenses and injury to public property. Okay, duty of the police to prevent offenses and injury to public property. 84 subsection 1. A police officer may intervene for the purpose of preventing and shall, to the best of his ability, prevent the commission of an offense. It is the duty of a police officer to prevent the commission of an offense. A police officer may intervene for the purpose of preventing and shall, to the best of his ability, prevent the commission of an offense. That's 84 subsection 1. 84 subsection 2. A police officer may, of his authority, intervene to prevent an injury attempting to be committed in his presence to any public property, whether movable or immovable, or the removal of or injury to any public landmark or buoy or other mark used for navigation. So a police officer has the authority to intervene in any perceived attempt to injure public property. Okay, when we get to the NSCDC Act, we'll see that the main duty of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps is for the protection of public infrastructure. However, by virtue of this provision, section 84 subsection 2, the police may assist where it is perceived that public property, there's an attempt to destroy public property by any person or group of persons. So the police officer may intervene. However, it is not the primary duty of the police officer to protect public infrastructure. That's why the NSCDC was created. When we get there, I think we'll discuss it. Okay, so section 84.2. A police officer may of his authority intervene to prevent an attempted injury to be committed in his presence to any public property, whether movable or immovable, or the removal of or injury to any public landmark or buoy or other mark used for navigation. Okay, section 85 now. That is information to plan to commit offense. A police officer receiving information of a plan to commit any offense shall communicate information to the police officer to whom he is subordinate, and to any other officer whose duty is to prevent or take cognizance of the commission of an offense. So, where the notice of the commission of an offense comes to the knowledge of a police officer, such police officer is to give such information to a police officer who is subordinate to him or any other police officer that is cognizant of the knowledge to take proper precautions. Okay, so the police officer has to report to maybe a police officer who is higher than him, who can take necessary precautionary measures. That's what section 85 of the Act provides for. 86 now. Notwithstanding the provision of this Act or any other law relating to arrest or police arrest, a police officer on a reasonable suspicion of a plan to commit an offense may arrest without orders from magistrates and without warrant the suspect where it appears to the officer that the commission of the offense cannot otherwise be presented. Okay, remember we said no police officer can issue an arrest warrant. I think we said it in one of the episodes. No police officer can issue an arrest warrant. An arrest warrant is only issued by the court. It states the person to be arrested. It states the reason why the person is to be arrested, and directs the warrant itself to a police officer to arrest the named person. Okay, I think we mentioned the content of an arrest warrant, right? So, because we said no police officer can issue an arrest warrant, section 86 provides that a police officer on reasonable suspicion of a plan to commit an offense may arrest without orders from a magistrate or without warrant. So, where there's reasonable suspicion for a police officer to believe that, look, someone is about to commit an offense, and to procure an arrest warrant or an order for a magistrate really would defeat the purpose of the arrest. He may go ahead and arrest the person where it appears to the officer that the commission of the offense cannot be otherwise prevented. I beg your pardon. Okay. Take note, that's the provision of section 86. 87 subsection 1 simply talks about the prevention by other public officers and offenses, public officers of offenses and injury to public property, okay? Now, 87 subsection 1. A judge, magistrate, or any other public officer charged with responsibility of maintaining law and order may intervene to prevent the commission of an offense or any damage to any public property, movable or immovable. A judge, magistrate, or any other public officer charged with responsibility for maintaining law and order may intervene to prevent the commission of an offense or any damage to any property that is public property, whether it is movable or immovable. Take note. That's very, very simple. A judge or anybody charged with the maintenance of law and order may intervene to prevent the commission of an officer or any damage to any public property. Okay? Now, 87 subsection 2. A person is bound to assist a judge or magistrate or police officer or any other public officer reasonably demanding his aid. Okay? I think we mentioned this before, that while effecting arrest, a person is bound to assist a police officer. But this section 87 is simply saying a person is bound, 87 subsection 2, a person is bound to assist a judge or magistrate or police officer or any other public officer reasonably demanding his aid, A, in preventing the commission of an offense or any damage to any public property, movable or immovable. So a person is bound to help a police officer, a judge or magistrate in preventing the commission of an offense or any damage to public property. B, in suppression of a breach of peace or in the prevention of any damage to property, movable or immovable, or to any railway, canal, supply, water supply, telecommunication system, oil pipeline, oil installation, electrical installation, and so on. Okay, and then C, in the prevention of the removal of any public landmark, buoy, or other mark used for investigation. So this is the general duty of to the public now, to assist the police in preventing maybe the destruction of a public property or the in suppressing a breach of peace, blah 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 blah. So this section 87 subsection 2 places duty on persons or members of the public to aid a police officer, a judge, or a magistrate in such duties or responsibilities. Okay, so we move to part 10 now, property found and unclaimed. Okay, section 88. Do we need to? Okay, let's just go through it. Section 88. Now, 88 subsection 1. Where a police officer or any other officer finds a lost property, the police officer or person who finds the property shall take it to the nearest police station within 24 hours after it is found. So you find a lost property, you take it to the police station within 24 hours after it is found. Okay? Take note. Now, 88 subsection 2. A police officer on duty shall collect the property which was found and make a record of it. Simple. Police officer on duty shall collect the property from the person who brought it to the police station within 24 hours. Okay, he shall make a record of it. That's it. Now, 88 subsection 3. A register shall be kept at the police station for the purpose of making entries of the property found and brought to the station, which shall contain, so, record of property found. Okay, maybe lost but found. There is a register for it at the police station. Now, the register shall contain A, the type of property found, B, the description of the property stating the general particulars and the state and condition of the property when it was brought to the police station and any other relevant information relating to the property. C, the date and time it was found and brought. And then D, the name and address and telephone number, if any, of the person who found and brought the property to the station. E, the name and rank of the police officer who collected the property. And F, the signature of the police officer and the person who found and brought the property to the station. Okay, so where a person finds a property and he takes it to the station within 24 hours, the police officer should collect such property and make a record of it. Now there is a register. We just discussed the things the register for the lost property shall contain. All right. Let me go over it again. Number 1, the type of property it is. Number 2, the description of the property stating the general particulars, the state and condition the property was when it was brought to the police station. 3, the date and time it was found and brought. 4, the name, address, and telephone number, if any, of the person who found and brought the property to the police station. 5, the name and rank of the police officer who collected the property. And 6, the signatures of the police officer and the person who found the property. Now, 87 subsection 4 now. A police officer who collects the lost and found property shall enter the details in the register referred to, the register that we just spoke about, and prepare 2 forms acknowledging the receipt of the lost and found property, and give a duly signed copy to the person who found and brought the property to the police station. So we give 2 forms. Okay, we prepare 2 forms. One will be held by the police, while the other one will be held by the person who brought the property to the police station. Okay, 87 subsection 5 now. The police officer in charge of the police station in possession of the property found shall make a public announcement at least on 3 consecutive times in the print and electronic medium about the property in custody of the police station for the rightful owner to claim the property with authentic proof of ownership within a period of 6 months. Okay, so the police officer in charge of the police station, not the one who collected the property and endorsed saying the features of the property in the register. No, it is the one that is in charge of the police station now who will make a public announcement consecutively 3 times for the owner of the property to come and claim his property within 6 months. Okay, the one in charge of the police station. Take note. All right. Now, subsection 6, 88 subsection 6. The police officer in charge of the station in possession of this property shall release the property upon satisfaction of proof of ownership. Okay, 7 now. Where the property remains unclaimed after the expiration of 6 months, the police officer in charge of that police station shall bring the property before a magistrate court for auction, and the proceeds shall be paid into the police reward fund established under section 91 of this act. So there's a police reward fund established under section 91. Where nobody claims the property, the lost but found property within 6 months, the officer shall take it to the presence of a magistrate, and the proceeds shall be paid into the police reward fund established under section 91. 88 subsection 8 now. Where a property in police custody is a perishable article, or its custody involves unreasonable expense or inconvenience, it may be sold at any time, and the proceeds of the sale shall be paid into the police reward fund established under section 91. Okay, where it is a perishable article or is unreasonably expensive or inconvenient to maintain, it may be sold at any time, and the proceeds is deposited into the police reward fund. Now, 88 subsection 9. There shall be deducted from the proceeds of the sale under subsection 7 and 8 before being paid into the police reward fund the cost, if any, of the sale, and of any sum which the court may direct to be paid as a reward to any person by whom the property is delivered into the possession of the police. Okay, take note. So before the money is paid into the police reward fund, necessary costs, maybe cost of auctioning, or maybe the court may choose to reward the person. All right, this is 50,000 naira. Thank you. Bam. They just deduct the necessary cost from the proceeds of the sale. Now, section 89 simply talks about documentation of arrest, witnesses, and death in police station. 89 subsection 1. Where a person appears in a police station in respect of an offense or an allegation of commission of a crime, either as an accused or a witness, or as a relation or friend of an accused person or a witness, the duty officer or such other officer as may be authorized by the officer in charge of the police station shall enter in the official record book: A, the name of the person and his national identity number; B, the date of birth of the person; C, the reason for the person's visit; D, the name and address of the person's next of kin; E, the exact time the person comes into the station and leaves for every day he visits; and F, any ailment or medical condition which the person has. So where a person appears at the police station either as a witness or an accused or a suspect for a crime, okay, there shall be an official record book where the police enters the name of the person and his national identity number, if any, the date of birth of the person, the reason for the person's visit, the name and address of the person's next of kin, and the exact time the person comes to the station and leaves for every day he visits. And also, if he has any ailments or medical condition, it shall be entered therein too. All right, this is just for official record keeping. Now, 89 subsection 2. The particulars mentioned in subsection 1 shall be updated each day the person remains in custody in the police station. Okay. Subsection 3. Where in the discharge of the police duty a person is shot, wounded, or killed, the officer commanding the operation shall record: A, the number of those wounded or killed; the names of the victims or their description as much as possible. And B, the effort taken to ensure hospitalization of the wounded or proper preservation of the dead. Okay, take note. 89 subsection 4. A police officer who fails to keep appropriate records refers to in subsection 1 and 2 and 3 commits a serious misconduct and shall attract disciplinary measure. Number 5. Subsection 5 now. 89 subsection 5. The Inspector General of Police shall give a quarterly report to the Police Service Commission itemizing the number and identity of persons who were detained in all police formations across Nigeria. B. Were charged and prosecuted in the courts in Nigeria and the outcome of their cases. C. Were killed or wounded during police operations across Nigeria. And D. Died in police custody. Okay. Now, Section 90. Missing person. Section 90 simply talks about missing person. Persons who are missing. A person who is aware that a person under his employment or control is missing shall within 24 hours report to the police. That's 19 subsection 1. A. The identity of the missing person, and B. Circumstances in which that person got missing. So, a person who has someone else in his employment shall within 24 hours report to the police that someone under my employment is missing, and he shall provide the identity of the missing person and the circumstances in which he or she got missing. That's the provision of 19 subsection 1. 90 subsection 2. When a report is made to the police officer under subsection 1 of this section, the duty officer or such other designated staff shall immediately record the name and address of the missing person and the person who made the report. Okay. All right. So that's for missing person. Now, part 11 now. That's section 91. Establishment of police reward fund, etc. and other provisions relating to police force. Do we need to discuss it? I don't think we need to. Police reward fund, like we said, okay, where a missing property is found and nobody claims the property, okay, after 6 months, the police officer might apply to a magistrate that the property be sold and the proceeds deposited into the police reward fund. So, okay, take note. Take note. Take note. Okay, I think we can end this podcast. Yeah, this episode of the podcast. Yeah, this is episode 12 of the podcast where we discuss Nigerian the Police Act 2020. Thank you very much for listening and for joining us, for staying tuned on to this present moment. We really appreciate your patience. Thank you very much. You can share, like, subscribe. You can book a free appointment. We'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.